So we talked a little bit about the Charlotte lifestyle, but what about the Kettler lifestyle and the community that we've created here?
Yeah, one huge thing for me, I come from the big dogs, Greystar. You do as well, Bell Partners, who have a huge presence here in the Charlotte market and in North Carolina, the United States as a whole. With Kettler was, I think one of the first things we look at is the benefits manual. One of the huge things on top of just the pay, but seeing that they have the paid holidays of Indigenous Peoples Day, they celebrate that. It's a paid holiday. Juneteenth is a paid holiday. We have 4 wellness days, one per quarter. I think just celebrating the combination of making sure you have that outside life outside of work has been huge for me. Obviously we work very hard. We're in a very taxing industry that's ever changing. Our days are always different. They fluctuate. We don't just work the standard 9 to 5. And I think Kettler really knows that. And they've, celebrated their people outside of work just as much as they have in the business role. I know specifically you've touched on women in power, and that's been huge for you. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so something I love about Kettler, and I think too in the industry, it's so lovely to see that there are a lot of women in leadership roles, and we have a president in our company that is female, which is so wonderful to see. And another thing conversely that we see on boots on the ground and in our offices is that the Charlotte market specifically has a lot of males and men in our management roles, which is not typical for multifamily. And I think that's so nice to see. And I think too, with the industry in general, that might just be changing. But for us specifically, we see it so heavily, which is wonderful. And I think that that is something that Kettler has really celebrated for us, is being able to make our decisions in terms of hiring our employees for who they are and not necessarily what their experiences are. I don't know, what have you experienced so far?
I think that that's a great way to say it. I think that Kettler not only, recognizes the diversity, but we also celebrate it. And I think that that's been something very important. Something interesting about me is, I was a high school course teacher for, almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And so this was a totally different, role for me. And, coming from the teacher side, it is so, they would not care if I needed a wellness day. And so, because let's be honest, teachers. And so, with that, like, that was something that was super important. And, you get one per quarter. And, I think back to my teacher days, and I'm like, man, what would I would do for a wellness day?
Yeah.
So coming into this company, it's just been awesome to again, see that it's not just recognized, what you need to take care of yourself, but it's celebrated to be yourself. And I really enjoyed that about Heather.
Yeah, and touching on celebrating to be yourself, we're coming up on Pride Month, which is June. And I know 2 years ago when I started with Kettler, one of the first things I checked was LinkedIn and a lot of people that had worked at Kettler. And I noticed that the Kettler logo was actually changed to the pride flag on June 1st. So it was right away. So it really comes to show that, some companies jump on the bandwagon and, they'll send out the flyers and the newsletters. But Kettler was really broadcasting it, saying, hey, it's celebrated here. And after being with this company for 2 years, you really feel that. And it showcases in the teams. It showcases, it spills out into the prospects when they come in. It spills out into the residents when they come in. And it speaks volumes on a company when you have people that have, the longevity they've had and the tenure that you see when we go to the company awards. Some of these people have been with Kettler since the beginning. We're speaking 25 years plus. I think that's very telling, and it shows that you see all walks of life in this business that are very successful, that have grown so much. When you include all walks of life in that background, it really just spills out into your company as a success. So I think they've done a good job at portraying that.
Yeah, and I think too, with the current expansion and the hope for additional expansion, I had the opportunity to go out west last week and help with onboarding with our Phoenix properties, and it was so fun, and it felt so good to be able to bring the Kettler culture and really specifically the Charlotte culture out there. We have created such a cool environment, I think, in the city, and I think Kettler has so much to do with that. Of course, abiding by what we need to follow in our policies, but also having fun and appreciating your job. And being able to bring that to a different climate entirely was really cool. So I'm excited to see how those properties will change and grow, and they seem so excited to be a part of our culture.
Yeah, exciting.
But we are so appreciative of you guys joining us today, and we will absolutely see you guys soon.
Bye, everyone.